And we have our first diver on the board from Belarus, Ksenia Kondrashenkova. Forward 2.5 somersaults with tuck. Seven, 6.5, 6, 6, 6, 7.5, 6.5. Taina Karvinen, Finland, forward 1.5 somersaults, 1 twist, free position. Six, 6, 7, 7, 7, 7, 6.5. Nadezhda Bajina, Russia. Inward 1.5 somersaults, pint. Eight, 8, 8, 8, 8, 7, 8. Alicia Blagg, Great Britain, inward 1.5 somersaults, pint. Seven and a half, 7.5, 7.5, 7, 7, 7, 7. Tania Cagnotto, Italy, inward 1.5 somersaults, pint. Eight, 8, 7.5, 8, 8, 8, 7. Nora Barta, Hungary. Forward 1.5 somersaults, 2 twists, free position. Seven, 6.5, 7, 7, 7.5, 7, 6.5. Ria Gale, Great Britain, inward 1.5 somersaults, pint. 7, 6.5, 7, 7.5, 6.5, 7, 7.5. Anna Pizmenska, Ukraine. Inward 1.5 somersaults, pite. Seven and a half, 7.5, 7.5, 7, 7.5, 7, 7. Patricia Pijak, Poland, inward, 1.5 somersaults, pite. Six and a half, 6.5, 6.5, 7, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5. Anastasia Podzniakova, Russia, inward 1.5 somersaults, pite. Seven, 7, 7, 7, 8, 7.5, 7.5. Magdalena Klander, Poland, inward 1.5 somersaults, pite.
Every time we touch, emotions that I can't contain come sweeping over me again. Every time we touch.
7, 6, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5. Francesca Dallapay, Italy, inward 1.5 somersaults, pite. Seven and a half, 7.5, 8, 7.5, 7.5, 7, 7.5. Sophie Somloy, Austria, inward 1.5 somersaults, pite. Six, 6.5, 6, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5. Jennifer Granot, Sweden, inward 1.5 somersaults, pite. 7, 6.5, 6.5, 6, 6, 6, 6. Celine von Down, Netherlands, inward 1.5 somersaults, piked. Six and a half, 6.5, 6.5, 6, 6.5, 6, 6. Katja Deco, Germany, forward 2.5 somersaults, piked.
You had my heart and will
6, 6, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, 6. Leire Aizagere, Spain, inward 1.5 somersaults, piked. Six and a half, 6.5, 6.5, 7, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5. Eero Laatunen, Finland, back 1.5 somersaults, 1.5 twists, free position. Six, 6, 7, 6.5, 6, 5.5, 6. Uschi Freitag, Germany, inward 1.5 somersaults, piked.
Babylonia.
7.5, 8, 7, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7. Elena Hamolkina, Belarus, inward 1.5 somersaults, piked. Seven, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6.5, 7. Marion Farissier, France, inward 1.5 somersaults, piked.
I wanna boom bang bang with your body, yo. We gonna rock it up before we take it slow. Girl, let me rock you like a rodeo. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. I wanna boom bang bang.
6.5, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Anna Lindberg, Sweden, forward 2.5 somersaults, pike. Eight, 7.5, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. Inge Jansen, Netherlands, inward 1.5 somersaults, pike.
Yeah, man.
7, 7, 7, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, 6. That brings us to the end of the first round of dives. Current standings are on the scoreboard for you now. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please remember that only the top 12 divers proceed to this evening's final. And so we move into the second round of dives. Ksenia Kondrashenkova, back 1.5 somersaults, pike. Seven, 6.5, 7, 6, 6.5, 6, 5.5. Taina Karvinen, forward 2.5 somersaults, pike. Six, 6, 7, 6.5, 6, 6, 6. Nadezhda Bajina, back 1.5 somersaults, pike. Seven and a half, 8, 7.5, 6.5, 7, 7. Alicia Blagg, forward 2.5 somersaults, pike.
Da capita va bene, se tu ne parla miezza americano, quando si fa l'amore sotto la luna.
6.5, 7.5, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, 7. Tanya Cagnotto, Forward 2.5 somersaults, pint. Seven and a half, 7, 8, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5. Nora Barter, back 1.5 somersaults, pint. Six, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5, 6, 6.5. Ria Gale, back 1.5 somersaults, pint. Six and a half, 7, 6, 6.5, 5.5, 6. Anna Pizmenska, forward 2.5 somersaults, pint. Six and a half, 6.5, 6, 5.5, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5. Patricia Pijak, forward 2.5 somersaults with tuck. Six, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, 6, 6.5, 6.5. Anastasia Podzniakova, forward 2.5 somersaults, pint. Seven, 5.5, 6, 6, 6. Correction 7, 7, 6. Magdalena Klander, forward 2.5 somersaults with tuck. Five, 4.5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 4.5. Francesca Dallapay, back 1.5 somersaults, pint. 6.5, 7, 5.5, 7, 6, 6, 6.5. Sophie Somloy, forward 2.5 somersaults, pike. Six, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5. Jennifer Granot, forward 1.5 somersaults, 2 twists, a free position. Five and a half from all judges. Celine Van Dam, forward 2.5 somersaults, pike. Four, 4.5, 4, 4.5, 4, 3.5, 4. Katja Deco, back 1.5 somersaults, pike. Six, 6.5, 7, 7, 6, 6, 6. Leire Ayazigiere, forward 2.5 somersaults, pike. Six, 5.5, 6, 6, 6, 5.5, 5.5. Ira Laatunen, forward 2.5 somersaults with tuck.
Get ready for the launch.
5.5, 6, 6, 5.5, 6, 5.5, 5.5. Ushi Freitag, forward 2.5 somersaults, pike. Six, 6, 5, 5.5, 5.5, 6, 5. Elena Hamulkina, forward 2.5 somersaults, pike. 5, 5, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5. Marion Forissier, forward 2.5 somersaults, pint. Six and a half, 6, 6, 6.5, 6.5, 6. Anna Lindberg, back 1.5 somersaults, pint. Seven and a half, 8, 7.5, 7, 7.5, 7. Inge Janssen, forward 2.5 somersaults, pint. Six, 5.5, 6, 6. That brings us to the end of the second round of dives. Once again, the current standings are on the scoreboard for you now. And into the third round of dives. Xenia Kondrashenkova, reverse 1.5 somersaults, pint. Seven, 6.5, 7, 6.5, 7.5, 7, 7.5. Taina Karvanen, back 1.5 somersaults, pint. Seven, 6, 6.5, 6, 6.5, 6, 6.5. Nadezhda Bajina, reverse 1.5 somersaults, pint.
Drop.
7.5, 7.5, 8, 7.5, 8, 8, 8. Alicia Black, back 1.5 somersaults, pint. 7, 6 and a half, 7, 6 and a half, 6 and a half, 6 and a half, 6 and a half. Tanya Kenyatta, back 1.5 somersaults, pint. Six and a half, 6 and a half, 7, 7, 6 and a half, 7, 7. Nora Barter, forward 2.5 somersaults, pike. Seven, 7 and a half, 7, 7, 7, 7 and a half, 7 and a half. Rear Gale, reverse 1.5 somersaults, pint. Seven and a half, 6 and a half, 7 and a half, 7, 6 and a half, 7, 7 and a half. Anna Pismenska, back 1.5 somersaults, pint. Seven, 7 and a half, 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 7 and a half. Patricia Pijak, back 1.5 somersaults, pint. Six, 5, 5 and a half, 6, 5 and a half, 5 and a half, 5 and a half. Anastasia Podzniakova, back 1.5 somersaults, pint. Seven and a half, 7, 8, 7, 7 and a half, 7, 7. Magdalena Klander, back 1.5 somersaults, pint. 6, correction, 6.5, 5.5, 5, 6, 6.5, 6, 5.5. Francesca Dallapay, reverse 1.5 somersaults, punt. Five and a half, 6.5, 5, 5, 5, 5.5, 5. Sophie Somloy, back 1.5 somersaults, pint. Seven, 6.5, 6.5, 7, 6.5, 6.5, 7. Jennifer Granot, forward 2.5 somersaults, pint. Five, 5.5, 5, 5, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5. Celine Von Down, back 1.5 somersaults, pint. Six, 6, 6, 6, 6.5, 6, 5.5. Katja Deco, reverse 1.5 somersaults, pint. Seven, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5. Leire Ayazagire, back 1.5 somersaults, pint.
Everybody clap your hands. Clap, 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 clap your hands. Clap, 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 clap your hands.
4.5, 5, 4.5, 4.5, 5, 5, 4.5. Ira Laatunen, inward 1.5 somersaults, pint. 6 and a half, 6 and a half, 6 and a half, 7, 7, 7, 6. Panel B judges, please prepare to take your seats. Thank you. Ushi Freitag, back 1 and a half somersaults, pint. Six, 7, 7, 7 and a half, 6, 6 and a half, 7. Elena Hamulkina, back 1 and a half somersaults, pint. Six and a half, 5, 6, 6, 6, 6 and a half, 5 and a half. Marion Farissier, back 1 and a half somersaults, pint. Six and a half, 6 and a half, 6, 6 and a half, 7, 7, 6 and a half. Anna Lindberg, reverse 1 and a half somersaults, pint. Seven and a half, 7 and a half, 8, 8, 8, 8 and a half, 7. Inga Janssen, back 1 and a half somersaults, pint. Five, 6, 5, 6, 3 and a half, 4, 5 and a half. Thank you, panel A judges. Panel B judges, please take your seats. That brings us to the end of the third round of dives, and once again, the current standings are on the scoreboard for you. Please remember, the top 12 make it through to this evening's final. And there are still plenty of divers just below that top 12 who will want a place in this evening's final. We have 2 more rounds of dives to go. But before we begin those, let me introduce you to your panel B judges. Judge 1, Kim Jensen. Judge 2, Anna Vinyuk. Judge 3, Alexander Vinogradov. Judge 4, Jari Komalainen. Judge 5, Ronald van der Voort. Judge 6, Valerio Palazzo. And Judge 7, Thomas Vimis. And so to the fourth round of dives. Senya Kondrashenkova, inward 1.5 somersaults, pike. Seven, 7, 6.5, 6, 6, 6, 6.5. Taina Karvanen, reverse 1.5 somersaults, pint. Four, 5, 4.5, 5, 3.5, 4.5, 3.5. Nadezhda Bajina, reverse 1.5 somersaults, 1.5 twists, free position. Six, 7, 6.5, 6, 6.5, 7, 6.5. Alicia Blagg, reverse 1.5 somersaults, pike. Seven and a half, 7, 7.5, 7, 7.5, 7, 7. Tanya Kenyoto, reverse 1.5 somersaults, 1.5 twists, free position. Eight, 8.5, 7.5, 7.5. Nora Barter, reverse 2.5 somersaults with tuck. Three, 2.5, 2.5, 2, 2, 3, 3. Rear Gale, forward 2.5 somersaults, pike. Six, 5.5, 5.5, 6, 5, 5.5, 5. Anna Pismenska, reverse 1.5 somersaults, pike. 5.5, 6.5, 5.5, 5.5, 6, 5.5, 5.5. Patrizia Pija. Reverse 1.5 somersaults, pint. Three and a half, 5, 5, 5, 4.5, 5.5, 4.5. Anastasia Podzniakova. Reverse 1.5 somersaults, pint. Seven, 7.5, 7.5, 7, 7.5, 7.5. Magdalena Klander. Reverse 1.5 somersaults, pint. Four and a half, 4.5, 4.5, 5, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5. Francesca Dallapay. Forward 2.5 somersaults, pint. Six and a half, 8, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Sophie Somloy. Reverse 1.5 somersaults, pint. Five and a half, 5, 6.5, 6, 7, 6.5, 6. Jennifer Granot. Reverse 1.5 somersaults, pint. Five and a half, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 5. Celine Von Down. Reverse 1.5 somersaults, pint. Six, 6, 6, 5, 6, 6.5, 5.5. Katja Deco. Inward 1.5 somersaults, pint. Cartier scores 7s from all judges. Leire Ayezagire. Reverse 1.5 somersaults, pint. Five, 5.5, 5.5, 5, 5.5. Ira Latunen. Back 1.5 somersaults, pint. Six, 5.5, 6, 6, 6, 6, 5. Ushi Freitag. Reverse 1.5 somersaults, pint. Six and a half, 6.5, 6, 6.5, 6.5, 6, 6.5. Elena Hamulkina. Reverse 1.5 somersaults, pint. Six and a half, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, 6, 6.5, 6.5. Marion Farissier. Forward 1.5 somersaults, 2 twists, free position. Six, 6, 6, 5.5, 6, 5.5, 5. Anna Lindberg. Forward 1.5 somersaults, 2 twists, free position. Eight and a half, 8, 8, 8, 7.5, 8, 7.5. Inge Janssen. Reverse 1.5 somersaults, pint. Six and a half, 7.5, 7, 7, 6.5, 6, 7. And that brings us to the end of round 4. Just before we move into the final round, the current standings are on the scoreboard for you. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, keep an eye on those divers around the 12th place mark. There are several there who will still want to make a place in this final. And our final round, Ksenia Kondrachenkova, Belarus, back 1.5 somersaults, 1.5 twists, free position. Three and a half, 4, 3, 3.5, 4, 2.5. Taina Karvonen, Finland, inward 1.5 somersaults, pint. Six and a half, 7, 7, 6.5, 6.5, 7, 6. Nadezhda Bajina, Russia, forward 2.5 somersaults, pint. Six, 6.5, 7, 6, 6.5, 6, 6.5. Alicia Black, Great Britain, reverse 1.5 somersaults, 1.5 twists, free position. Eight, 7.5, 7, 7.5, 7, 7.5, 7. Tanya Cagnotto, Italy. Reverse 1.5 somersaults, pint. Eight and a half, 8.5, 8, 8, 8, 8.5, 7.5. Nora Barter, Hungary. Inward 1.5 somersaults, pint. Six and a half, 7, 6.5, 7, 6.5, 7, 7. Ria Gale, Great Britain. Back 1.5 somersaults, 1.5 twists, free position. Six and a half, 6.5, 6.5, 6, 6.5, 6. Anna Pizmenska, Ukraine. Forward 1.5 somersaults, 2 twists, free position. Five and a half, 6, 4.5, 5.5, 5.5, 6. Patricia Pijak, Poland. Forward 1.5 somersaults, 1 twist, free position. Six, 6.5, 6.5, 6, 5.5, 4.5, 5. Anastasia Podzniakova, Russia. Reverse 1.5 somersaults, 1.5 twists, free position. Six and a half, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7.5, 7.5. Magdalena Klander, Poland. Back 1.5 somersaults, 1.5 twists, free position. Five and a half, 6, 6, 5.5, 6.5, 6, 5. Francesca Dallapay, Italy. Back 1.5 somersaults, 1.5 twists, free position. And Francesca scores 7s from all judges. Sophie Somloy, Austria. Forward 1.5 somersaults, 2 twists, free position. 6, 5, 5 and a half, 5 and a half, 5, 5 and a half, 5. Jennifer Granot, Sweden. Back 1 and a half somersaults, pint. Six and a half, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6 and a half, 6. Celine von Down, the Netherlands. Back 1 and a half somersaults, 1 and a half twists, free position. Four and a half, 4 and a half, 4, 3, 4 and a half, 4, 3. Culture Deco, Germany. Forward 1 and a half somersaults, 2 twists, free position. Six, 6, 6 and a half, 6, 6, 6 and a half, 6. Leire Ayasekire, Spain. Forward 1 and a half somersaults, 2 twists, free position. Five and a half, 5, 5 and a half, 6, 6, 5 and a half, 5 and a half. Iran Laatunen, Finland. Reverse 1 and a half somersaults, pint. Six, 6 and a half, 7, 6 and a half, 6 and a half, 6, 6 and a half. Uschi Freitag, Germany. Reverse 1 and a half somersaults, 1 and a half twists, free position. Seven, 7, 7, 7, 6 and a half, 6 and a half, 7. Elena Hamolkina, Belarus. Forward 1 and a half somersaults, 1 twist, free position. 5.5, 5.5, 6, 6, 5.5, 5.5, 6.5. Marion Ferrissier, France. Reverse 1.5 somersaults, height. Seven, 6.5, 6.5, 6, 6.5, 6.5, 7. Anna Lindberg, Sweden. Inward 1.5 somersaults, piked. Eight and a half, 8, 8.5, 8.5, 7.5, 8.5, 8.5. Inge Janssen, Netherlands. Back 1.5 somersaults, 1.5 twists, free position.
Is that you? Yes. Oh, I'm Scatman John. Would you like to sing a song, man? Well, sure could.
7, 7, 7, 6.5, 7, 7, 6.5. Thank you, divers. Thank you, judges and officials. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the women's 1 meter preliminary competitors. The final results are on the scoreboard for you now. Please could I remind those divers who have qualified for the final that you and your coach need to attend the Diver Information Centre to sign your dive sheets in the next 30 minutes. Please could I also remind all divers to collect their accreditation from the Diver Information Centre. That concludes our first event on day 4 of the diving competition of the 31st LEN European Swimming Championships here from Eindhoven. We will be back